Well, prices are already up. That affects how we build homes in Australia, in New South Wales in particular. Now, you as Premier have tried to change as much as you can in a really short amount of time. It comes down to planning. You made this big announcement yesterday. What will it actually change, and when do these changes come into effect, Premier?
Well, I mean, as soon as possible after the legislation passes, and you're right, it's a massive change to how we do zoning, planning and build houses in New South Wales, but it's only a bill at this point. It's not legislation. It's got to pass the upper house. It's got to pass the lower house. We don't have the numbers in either. But what Paul Scully's done is present a big reform plan for New South Wales to try and break the logjam that's seen the next generation of young Australians up and leave the state. We lost 40,000 young people last year. We're used to losing people in New South Wales. Often older people move north for warmer weather, but now we're losing younger people who want to start business. We want people to start businesses and join local firms and coach football teams and become presidents of the PNC. And they are not able to get a roof over their head. So these changes are long overdue. We believe they'll make a major difference and make it far easier to build a house, build an apartment, build a home for your average person in New South Wales.
You're basically kneecapping councils. I can't imagine they're going to be happy about that. Do you need their buy-in, or can you do this anyway?
Look, I mean, we don't have any ambition to be antagonistic to local councils, and some councils have been brilliant, absolutely brilliant in articulating a change to their local community. Inner West Council, Burwood Council, Canada Bay Coalition, Liberal Party mayor is the mayor there. They've been great working with the government. They've recognised that their residents are saying that their grandkids aren't able to live close to them because their kids are having to move out. And so I think it's a mixed bag, to be honest, Laura. We don't want to kneecap anyone, but anyone that's tried a renovation in Sydney, anyone, will tell you that it's insane to be going and collecting 10 to 20 different reports and waiting 2 years for a minor change to your residence. And it doesn't work like that in any other state in the country. It doesn't work like that in places around the world. And as a result, if you have to wait 2 or 3 years to do a minor change to your dwelling to get an extra room or a living room, then it's a huge impact on the New South Wales economy. We want to reward complying developments, take that out of the planning system effectively so that planners can focus on high streets, town centres and making communities more livable.
Right, so I'm about to speak to Mark Speakman. He largely agrees with this, as I understand it, but we'll confirm that from him. When will you put the legislation to Parliament if you get an undertaking from the Liberal Party that they will support this, and then when are the changes come into effect? Basically, I'm asking, what's the shortest timeline you can get this done in if you have the support of the opposition?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to knock Mark and I'm not going to knock the Liberal Party. They made a big, bold offer a couple of months ago to say they want to work in a bipartisan way, and we've had good discussions with the leader of the National Party, Dougal Saunders, the leader of the Liberal Party, Mark Speakman. I'm really hopeful we can get a bipartisan change here. The changes vary because the Act is, in terms of when it will begin, it varies, but largely it'll be up and running by halfway through next year if it passes Parliament in the next few months. We've already introduced the bill. Paul Scully read it into Parliament yesterday.
Okay, will you introduce, the targets? When it comes to the target imposed by the federal government, does this bring you any closer to reaching that target within 5 years?
Well, I hope so, and we're seeing big increases in the number of applications, and the time it takes for the state government and local councils to assess developments is way down, but we're unlikely to meet it this year. And next year will be difficult as well. I mean, we're going from about 40,000 to try and get to 75,000 in 1 year. It's a huge task. What I would say is that if we can get the foundations right, rather than meeting an ad hoc target from the Commonwealth Government for a 2 or 3 or 5 year period, we can have a perpetual change to the system so that capital comes into New South Wales and we can meet it every year. And if we start to do that, we can make a dent on housing affordability, rents, the prices people pay to live in the city that they grew up in.
One final question to you, Premier, about Mal Lanyon. We all know that he's the front runner, or one of the front runners to take over as New South Wales Police Commissioner. It looked like there was a bit of a hit job in the media on him yesterday, taking out a police boat on New Year's Eve. Do you see it that way?
Look, I'm in a difficult position because obviously people are entitled to put their hand up to run for a job like the police commissioner, and there's a lot of good people that have put their hand up to do a very difficult job. Generally speaking, when you run for a job, you can do it without the glare of publicity, but I recognise it's on the front page of the newspapers today. Look, what I'd say is that we're not ruling not ruling anyone out of contention for the police commissioner's job. We haven't made a decision, the police minister and I, but we will take something to cabinet soon. It's a really important job for New South Wales, probably the most important position that we'll take, or job that we'll appoint in government. We want to make sure that we get it right. But I just make the point, Laura, that I think the public would expect us to make a decision on someone's entire career, not on one decision that they've made, and that goes for everybody. And we want to make sure we've got the right person in the job.
In your eyes?
Look, it'd be really unfair for me to have what should be a private process in the public, if for no other reason that people are entitled to put their hand up for these jobs without me conducting that interview in public. Okay. Otherwise, we're not going to get people applying for these jobs in the future, Laura. Okay. But look, we haven't made a decision yet, but we're not ruling out anybody, and I think the public would expect us to take into consideration someone's entire professional career. Just make the point that Mal, not only as a Deputy Police Commissioner, but also as the Reconstruction Authority Chair, and he's done a sterling job in those positions.
I don't get you on the program very often, so I just quickly want to ask you, because you've been really thoughtful when it comes to political debate in New South Wales, and obviously it's been a pretty tense time since October 7. I wanted to ask you quickly about Charlie Kirk. Of course, this happened in America, not in New South Wales, but it has sparked all these conversations about how we debate well and what political activism looks like. Have you had any concerns or thoughts about that since his assassination?
Look, I mean, not specifically about New South Wales. I think we've got a different political culture in our state and our country, and one that we really need to hold on to. And I've sort of said this quite a few times, but people I know, good friends of mine, I could go to the football or the cricket with and they wouldn't vote for me in a pink fit. And it doesn't matter. It's just not the most important thing that I think in terms of friendship and community that we have in Australia. We've really got to hold on to that. And I don't think that that's because Australians are disinterested in politics. I just think that we've got more in common with each other than we have differences. I've been really, I've been following that assassination in America. I found the whole thing so troubling, that spiral of violence. It's devastating to see someone killed in those circumstances. And, the whole thing I find really confronting. I feel devastated for his family, and I just hate to see that political culture take hold anywhere in the world, in America or even here in Australia.
Yeah, indeed. I think we're all with you on that one, Premier. Thanks so much for your time, as always. I always push my time limits, so I appreciate it.
No worries, Laura. Thanks for having me on.